Why I left my teaching job to pursue my passion as an educator. Are you insane? What do you mean you left your secure teaching career? What about your pension, the benefits, the summers off? You are so lucky. People would kill for your position, G. You wasted all that time in school to just give up? Trust me, these thoughts all ran through my mind far too often to ignore, even though I tried. That's when I realized I had a really big problem. I attended the Pennsylvania State University for 5 years with an extreme passion for helping people with special abilities overcome differences, break down barriers, and grow beyond stigmas placed upon them by society. I am an advocate at heart and hold firm to my belief that all people are competent and capable of learning. It is our job as educators to find or create a program that best fits each student's unique learning styles and goals. I found true fulfillment in my opportunities at Penn State and thought landing a dream position as a full-time special education teacher post-graduation would be the beginning of an amazing, impactful life and a really useful way to put my BS, MED, and 18-plus behavior specialist credits to good use. But I will be honest, and I know my cohort can vouch for this, I always said, I'll teach for 5 years and then I'll do something else. If they thought I was crazy then, I can't imagine what they're thinking now. I was fortunate enough to land an amazing J.O.B. as a special educator in one of the best districts in my county just a few short months after graduating in 2015. I remember the day I got the call like it was yesterday. My principal called while I was coaching at the gym, and I remember telling her that I have to call her back. I called her back and hesitantly accepted the position. I contacted a few mentors from college to consult them, and within weeks, I was hired, paperwork in, contract signed, and in over my head. The reality of adulting had really kicked in. Now, don't get me wrong, I've always worked, but this time, to me, it felt more like I had a major commitment to something that I wasn't exactly sure I was ready for or wanting. I'll spare you the details and stick to the basics because, let's be real, a teacher's job is one of the toughest professions, and I'm not just saying that because I once was a traditional teacher. The low appreciation for endless hours of effort, the parent-pleasing, the child attitude checking, the expected additional hours of training and coursework, the politics, it's all extremely taxing mentally and physically. I can't applaud the profession enough. You guys are the real MVPs. Although I tried to be a valuable player, I couldn't help but feel like I was playing for the wrong team. My first year of teaching in a nutshell was a learning experience. I learned a lot about what I liked and a whole lot more about what I did not like about my job. Although the negatives outweighed the positives, even from the beginning, I continued to show up with a smile on my face every day and give it my 110% because my students, my 5 amazing kids, deserve nothing less than the best Miss G I could be. I tried to get through the year by pushing through my negative self-talk, 4:30 a.m. wake-up calls, and sometimes 11 p.m. stays to get through the paperwork. My coworkers would joke about me staying the night. I did debate it often. I stayed because I cared, because I wanted to learn, because I wanted it to feel right. I wanted it to be easy. Unfortunately, due to my late-night extensions and early morning preps, I felt consumed by the job and felt like I had lost myself and lost my identity. I wasn't happy to come to work. I wasn't happy to show up. I didn't want to interact with my colleagues. I would hope that my kids wouldn't come so that I could actually use my prep period and or get a lunch break in. The saddest part was, this seemed normal. I looked to other teachers for support, and while I will say the majority of them genuinely loved what they did every day, certain others wanted me to jump on the misery loves company bandwagon. And guess what? I did. Come February, I wasn't nearly the teacher I sought to be. I hardly taught anything. I was actually only allotted 120 minutes of instructional time with my students to teach and collect data on all of their goals. How could these students progress? How could I be the best teacher when all I felt was rushed? I felt helpless. The job itself wasn't challenging, the students weren't challenging, but I think it was the lack of challenge that eventually drew me away. It felt comfortable and complacent, and I'll be honest, it scared the hell out of me. I remember I looked around my room one day and thought, this will be my forever life. I ended my first school year not celebrating a successful year, but rather looking forward to a summer off. I ran to my car, literally. I wanted nothing to do with kids and instead decided I'd travel and visit old friends. mostly teacher friends, and see how their lives were mapping out. To my surprise, the majority really enjoyed what they were doing. This is when red flag number 2 came up. I promised myself that I would go into my second year with an open heart and open mind. I did a lot of personal growth that summer and was ready to give the teaching thing another go. I walked in on the first day and it just felt wrong. I will always 100% say that my students came first and that each day I delivered what they needed, but I was never giving them my best self. I was 1 month into school and could not swallow the hard truth that if I didn't get out while I could, that this would be my life forever. I know this may be extremely hard for some of you to understand. I had a great job. I had a great paycheck. Where's the problem? Well, just like any good teacher, let me paint a picture for you. We call that imagery. Every day, and I mean every day, I walked into that J.O.B. and I felt like I was 50 years old with 3 kids, divorced or widowed, you pick which is worse, trapped on the side of a superhighway, 8 lanes, not 2, and an ugly gray minivan with 1 wheel missing and no one answering my rescue call. Every single day. I felt anxious all the time and my body started to react. I had my period for 3 months straight, TMI guys, but this is the real raw truth, and my skin was breaking out all over my face and neck. I wasn't only mentally sick over this, my body was physically reacting. At this point, I had to listen to the signs. I consulted some important people in my life seeking advice about what to do. Should I continue? Is this normal? Do you like your job? What should I do? Someone tell me what to do. If I surveyed 20 people, only one, yes, one, had a difficult time with my decision. I say decision because I already knew what I was going to do. I made up my mind. On October 6, 2016, I wrote my 60-day letter of resignation. I called a meeting with my principal, who I admire, and respectfully told her that this just wasn't for me. I'll never forget what she said to me that day, and I will leave the conversation between the two of us. But it wasn't discouraging. It was empowering. It was the very opposite of what I thought was going to happen. This was the day that I stated out loud that I was going to leave my job as a teacher to pursue my passion as an educator.